Hello and welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is David Novak. Today I am going to do the Honest BookTuber Tag. This is a tag which has recently been revived by Jessica at Jess Book Girl TV, who says, I saw the Honest BookTuber Tag on someone else's channel. I decided to do it. It's a fun one to do, and I am hoping it gets revived. The Honest BookTuber Tag was created by Harriet Rosie 13, a channel which I am given to understand is now dormant or inactive. I was tagged by Will Chambers, who has a lovely BookTube channel, an eponymously named BookTube channel. And then later in the day, lo and behold, I was tagged by James at Quaint and Curious Volumes. Now, both Will and James, either directly or indirectly, were tagged by Pat at Book Chat with Pat. She did not tag me, and I don't know if that's because the last time she tagged me, I neglected to do the tag. I invite anybody to tag me for anything. Sometimes I get out of control a little bit in my life and can't get to everything, or sometimes I intend to do it and then I lose track. I thought I would try to get back to the tagging habit with this Honest BookTuber Tag, which does seem to be experiencing a good revival right now. So let me jump right in. There are 10 prompts plus tagging some people. So, number 1, have you ever lied about reading a book? Yes, I have. When I was in high school, I have recounted this before, my freshman English teacher, Miss Johnson, established a notebook. Each one of her students got his or her own page, and she wanted us throughout the course of the term to jot down any books that we had read on our own, any extracurricular reading, which we did. She wanted to encourage us to read. And I, every week, would fill in a book or so, probably most of which I had not read. And I was not, I believe, just trying to cage some extra credit out of this teacher. That was not the way I operated, and I'm not even 100% sure that we got extra credit. The honest truth is that when I was very young, I wanted to be a reader. My sister was a dedicated reader, and I wanted to be like her and was never able to do it. A lot of distractions kept me from it. So I recall doing that, and in fact, there is one of the books that I recall putting on that list was titled Total War. The author is Peter, and then it's an Italian surname, Castiglione or something. That's not it. And I go back and forth whether I should pick up a copy of that book and read it. It's about World War II. A subject which I probably could use a good overview. So it's a debate which I have constantly within myself. Now, early on, I've also mentioned that I had a mentor when I was in college, a woman slightly elder to me, and she was very literary minded, and we would talk literature. And I recall one time distinctly we had a conversation, and she was talking about Ulysses. And I thought she meant Odysseus. I wasn't quite sure why she was referring to Odysseus as Ulysses, talking about it like a book that everybody had read, and she presumed that I had read it as well. I had not read it. And I went out at some point and picked up a copy of the book and read it. So I was sort of embarrassed that I had not read so important a work, and I glossed over the fact that I had not read it. Number 2, have you ever avoided a book because of controversy around the content author? No, I have not. If anything, for me, it's the opposite. If anything is too highly lauded, then I avoid it. So, for example, recent books that fall into that category are Yellowface. I heard the plot discussed so many times on Booktube, and finally I just thought, I can't do this. I showed it to my partner because I had come across it in a neighborhood box, and she glanced at it and said, no, this is not for me. And then more recently, the book James, which everybody has been talking about. It's everybody's best book of the year so far, etc., etc. In that case, I will avoid a book. I have always avoided whatever is so supremely popular. Number 3, have you ever been sent a book for free and not disclosed it? No. I am sent books for free mainly if I order a book and the wrong book arrives, and then I get refunded on the order. I have a couple of those that have happened recently, but people do not send me books. My channel does not review current books, so to speak. I recall there was a guy, James made mention of him, who was approaching every single booktuber out there, offering to send a copy of his book and asking for a review. Many people took him up on that offer, and all of the reviews that I saw were positive. He did not even bother to contact me. He may never have seen my channel, I being so far at the periphery of Booktube, even of this corner of Booktube, as some folks would have it. So I do not receive books. Number 4, have you ever bought a book with no intention of reading it? That is something I do all the time. Bookless Pete was talking about this author who died recently, and he sounded interesting to me. And Pete recommended this particular book as a good starting place, so I bought it with no intention of reading it. And you can see where I'm at now. I'm almost done. Well, looks like within 25 pages, within 25 pages of finishing it. I had no intention of reading it. The kind of situation where I am also likely to do such a thing is, some while back I read this book, The Crisis of Reason by J.W. Burrow, and really liked it. It's all gone now. I don't remember a thing. And then I followed it up with this, and I read, how far did I read? I've talked about this one. Oh, now my bookmark is gone. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, there it is. Okay, so I have read 244 pages out of a, well, it's about a 300, so there's about 100 pages more to go. Set it aside, have not gotten back to it. And I bought this. It's obviously some sort of a sequence or and I really don't intend to read this, but there is a sort of completist in me that wants to have everything of a set, if a set exists, whether I plan to look at it or not. That's not to say I give in to this urge all the time, but it has happened. Have you ever got caught up in a Booktube drama? No. Well, a little bit. Before my BookTube days, I would get caught up in these little internet dramas all of the time. And I think watching some of these BookTube dramas when they arise has sort of weaned me a little bit from it. The big one from a year or a year and a half ago was about monetization. Somebody said, oh, booktubers should not monetize their channels, blah, blah, blah. And then offense was taken, and there's been more than one BookTube tempest wherein one booktuber or another said, that's it, I'm done with BookTube. I'm leaving this platform. And I followed those sequences of events, interjecting here or there, but not very prominently. And now I think I am less inclined to do so. I prefer a life that is removed from drama, if at all possible. Number 6, have you ever had a hate comment, and did you respond? I am sure that I have, but I really don't remember. But I think, I'm thinking of one that was not really a hate comment, but I remember somebody said, your lighting is bad, your sound is bad, you look bad. And I saw this person making that exact same comment on channel after channel. And in that case, I had a couple of weeks before seen Brian at Bookish handle something like that. And so I answered this viewer words to the effect, well, why don't you start a channel and show me how to do it? But I think I've had one or two comments that were more pointedly hateful, but I just don't remember them. That kind of thing escapes me. Number 7, have you ever made a video just because you knew it would get views? No. This is aside from, it's become boilerplate by now answering this to say, you make a video, you know there's going to be some views. I understand that certain types of videos, like a book haul video, is going to get more views. And so I have, whereas I had said I'm not going to do book haul videos, when I realized, and in fact I had people say to me, we want you to do some book haul videos, I decided, well, I will make some book haul videos here and there because people seem to like it. So yes, indirectly that is to get views, but my overriding aim is not to build a subscriber base or to get some kind of astronomical viewer count per video. As with any kind of writing that I have done, you just never know what kind of reaction something will evince. And so with a video, I make the video that I feel like making. Some videos are looked at more, some less, and I have no means of calibrating why that is so. So I just don't bother with that. Yeah. Perhaps if I knew that something would get views, I might be tempted, but I have not had the analytics to figure that kind of thing out. And actually, since I reached the 1,000 subscriber milestone, when I did a question and answer video, since that time, I find that I do not look at the analytics hardly at all anymore. If you could go back, this is number 8, if you could go back to the beginning of your channel, would you do anything differently? Probably not. I would say be less nervous about it. But I don't think that's the kind of thing that you can just tell yourself to do. Of course, I could go back and re-record all of those videos, but then they would lack that certain spontaneity, would they not? It always bothered me when recording artists, musicians would go back and re-record their oeuvre. Generally, it would be because some label held the contract, the rights to those songs in terms that were very unfavorable to the musician, and so they wanted to sort of recoup a little bit of what they had put into those hits and whatnot. But I never liked those re-recorded versions. This is a digression, is it not, which has nothing to do with books or BookTube. And the rain is falling. I don't know if you can hear that. Number 9, are there any channels you wish you could be more like? Well, that's a tough one, because there are booktubers aplenty that I wish I could be more like, and so I will not list their names. As far as channels per se, probably not. James mentioned that he is of the booktuber variety. Randy Ray is another whose method, I almost said methodology, whose method is simply to turn on the camera and say what's on his mind and then turn it off. Of course, I turn on the camera and I have no idea what's on my mind until I say it. Sometimes I have a little vague inkling, but one never knows what is going to pop out. But I like channels that have a sort of spontaneity. I would say that the more heavily edited a channel is, the more I am disinclined to that channel. So say, for example, Jack Edwards, whose channel I like very much, but when you watch one of his videos and there's just all these cut, then I find myself disfavoring that channel. So even if I go on at length to the extent of boredom, I try to do it without making a lot of cuts. Number 10, what is something you love about your channel? Well, I don't look at my channel in any sort of objective way. After I record a video, I do look at it. And then after I have looked at it and posted it, then I don't look at it again, unless somebody makes a comment or asks a question that's referring to something in the video and I can't really understand what they're asking me and I need to review the video for clarification. But otherwise I don't go back. And so I don't, and this has always been the way with my poetry as well, I don't go back to look at these things, and so I can't say that I love anything in particular about the channel. I love the fact of having a channel just because of the experience it brings, the community that it puts me into as a part, and I enjoy exploring and experimenting with that. But that is a different thing than one thing that I like about my channel. So the next prompt, number 11, is to tag some people, and I'm really not sure who has done this or not. Pat at Book Chat with Pat tagged a whole bunch of people, and then, I mean, it really seems to be exploding. If I think of whom to tag, I will put it in the description box, and if that is you, you will know about it. If YouTube notifications are working that day. Sometimes I find that I can be tagged in a video and never hear about it, or sometimes I can be tagged in a video and hear about it several days later, and so forth. So that is my version of the Honest BookTuber Tag. Thank you, Will and James, for tagging me. And thank you, Jessica, for reviving this. Thank you very much for stopping by my channel.